Welcome back to Fire Emblem Wedding Dawn and Lunas and Heroes. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so as of recording this, I just found that out, and it's amazing. I'm going to be spending tons of orbs now. But anyway, last time, well, we had a lead in the war, only for Scrimmia to blow the whole thing by kind of being an idiot. But Zelgius sure knows how to play the enemy. This time, we're going to see the direct consequences of what just happened.
General Zelgius's plan succeeds in breaking the morale and momentum of the Laguz forces. Scrimmia accepts a challenge to single combat with Zelgius and barely escapes with his life. His defeat sends a wave of doubt and fear through the Laguz alliance. Ranulf, knowing that the situation has turned against them, orders a full retreat. And the beast tribes use the 3 days offered by Zelgius to recross the Riban and begin the long march back to Gallia.
Actually, the arrows shouldn't be going that way in the map because they will have to go through Crimea. Or will they? Also a pretty apt chapter title here, though it's actually a little bit misleading considering the kind of chapter we'll be going through. The war might be over. Like I said earlier, Raphael's pretty much a giant Zelgius fanboy. So, this is a soldier who's clearly on the Senator's side of this whole situation. And I do like this moment. It's just like... They're like, the war is going to be shorter because of him, but he won! We can't punish him for that! Dang it! Wow, that's really saying something. But you've been forbidden from doing that. Zelgius gave us 3 days. And yep, that's what you're saying. And once again, the whole chain of command issue comes into play. They do technically outrank him. However, this could be a boon for us if Zelgius finds out. Any fracturing in the Bednion leadership is good for us. And yes, here we are back here. As you can see, there is a ballista on the map, which heavily implies we will be fighting here. So there's actually a little bit of extra detail on that line from Reyson in the extended script. He doesn't just say they're my family, he says I'm a Phoenician, which has a lot of impact. So kind of annoyed they left that out. And in the extended script, Ike says, you're basically one of us as well, you know, because Reyson was essentially part of the Grail Mercenaries during the Mad King's War. Which leads to a kind of a nice line before the chapter begins. But with that, yes, we finally have Reyson on our side again. If you've played Path of Radiance, you should be pretty familiar with how Reyson works. He chants for one ally while untransformed, and all adjacent allies in Heron form. Pretty simple, though he's had a couple of major upgrades since the last game. The first is that his movement is a lot higher. He actually has the highest movement of all Herons in this game. Secondly, he has Canto now, so remember how I gave him the Night Ring back in my Path of Radiance playthrough? Think that, except all the time. Reyson can easily get wherever you need him to refresh people, especially if you give him Celerity. And with the improvements and better accessibility to Laguz transformation items in this game, it's relatively easy to keep Reyson chanting for 4 allies constantly. By endgame, Raphael is often preferred due to his ability to chant for 4 people without needing to waste a turn using a transform item. But if you don't mind taking 1 turn to use a Lagoo's Gem, which is a new type of transform item that I'll be covering much later, Reyson will become the furthest moving quad chanter in this game, which is definitely a great asset. Also worth noting is that Reyson has the highest starting level of all the Herons, so he's the most likely to learn the new chants. He does have the lowest growth of the Herons, but their stats really don't matter all that much, so that's not a big loss. Even though this means nearly nothing, I still find it amusing that he's the only Heron with a strength growth. So, yeah, we can actually move around items on our Beast Tribe allies, but we won't have access to any of them for this chapter, so if you want to remove any items from them, do it now. Here's the thing though, I don't really think we have much. I mean, I could at least convoy that concoction, but other than that, they all just have extra Lagoo's transformation items, which aren't really going to be all that great. Speaking of Lagoo's transformation items though, gonna go ahead and take a couple of Olivia Grass on you, and I might as well swap over Mordecai's heavily damaged Lagoo's Stone to you. Because Olivia Grass can be nice for keeping Herons transformed, and it's especially useful for Reyson, because Reyson can only affect 4 allies in his transformed state, and he's heavily weakened in his untransformed state. So it's good to have his transform gauge sustained. Now, might as well check out info, because we have a 3-star conversation from Ha here. Ha may like sleeping, but he's still on guard at all times. I love that detail about him. Yeah, Ike hasn't seen Jill in a long time. We've heard a little bit about Jill and Ha and what they've been doing in part 1, but this is our first time hearing Ha's side of the story. So we know that, that's what happened back in part 1. It feels like so long ago now. And also the fact that if you had given support, then part 1 would have been ridiculously easy. Okay then. That's certainly true. Not like we were going to be doing much crushing of the Empire at this rate, though. Maybe you found something back during the chapter where we invaded the Senator's camp. Ha is strange, but he's great to have on our side, and we get the Corrosion Scroll. Now, Corrosion is a very interesting skill in Radiant Dawn. So in Path of Radiance, you probably know Corrosion as being one of the worst skills in the game. It reduced the enemy's weapon durability by an incredibly small amount that would rarely make a difference. Corrosion is still not amazing. I believe it's still a skill over 2% chance, so it's not very likely to activate. But Corrosion did get buffed a lot since the last game, and I find Corrosion to be a little underrated in Radiant Dawn. I still don't think it's anything amazing, but it's much, much better than it used to be. What Corrosion does now is it reduces the enemy's weapon durability by your level. And your level counts as 20 higher if you're in 2nd tier, and 40 higher if you're in 3rd tier. So do you see what I'm getting at? So with Ike's current level, he is essentially level 35. That means that he'll reduce the enemy's weapon durability by 35 points if he activates Corrosion, which is enough to break a lot of weapons. For example, it would be enough to break a crossbow, it would be enough to break a steel bow, which is pretty good. But once you hit 3rd tier, you're reducing the enemy's weapon durability by 40 to 60, which is more than enough to break most weapons instantly. So later in the game, Corrosion becomes instantly break enemy's weapon, which, given that a lot of enemies in this game only carry one weapon, it can be a nice insurance policy in case you don't finish something off. You can often completely cripple them if Corrosion activates. Obviously, don't use it against enemies that have droppable weapons, though. But I find Corrosion a little underrated in this game, like I said. It's still not the best thing in the world, but it's far from the worst either. So let's see, I'd like it on somebody with a really good skill stat. Nefany has room for Corrosion, but she already has Disarm, so there's no real points. Yeah, I like keeping Nullify on him. Weirdly enough, it feels like the best person to give Corrosion to right now is Ike. So I might as well do that. And Mordecai, I'm going to go ahead and remove Smite, because I doubt I'll be using him for much longer. So let's see, Smite is... Okay, Ike does have the capacity for it, but I'd probably rather give it to Ranulph, except that we're not going to be able to use Ranulph in this chapter. So let's see who gets Smite. Somebody with a lot of weight. Oh yeah, and as you can see here, 3rd tier classes have a massive amount of capacity. I forgot to cover this before. But seeing as mastery skills take up so much of it, they don't have nearly as much as you'd think. That is a bit of an issue with the capacity system in this game, is the fact that mastery skills are forced and they take up massive amounts of it, and also Shove and Canto take up capacity. You really don't have as much freedom in skills as you'd probably think. Kind of like to give Gatry Smite, but... let's see... Well, I might as well give it to Ike for now. I'm not going to have him fight much, because I don't really want him to be leveling up with regular experience. So, I think I'll also do this, obviously. Might even give Ike another bonus experience level. Because his speed is getting very close to being capped, and his defense already is capped. In fact, at this point, he only has 4 stats that he can gain. And it's obviously much, much better to bonus experience him than to level him normally. And there we go. So that's speed, capped, and yeah, when Ike is capped strength, skill, speed, and defense, he's kind of a beast in this one. Also, he's gained a lot more luck than he usually does, thanks to bonus experience. I could actually cap Ike off now if I wanted to, but that would cost me almost all of my bonus experience. Let's see, is there anyone else that I want to give bonus? Yeah, you know what, let's give Gatry a level up. I'm in no hurry to get Ike level capped, because he doesn't promote until the beginning of part 4. Okay, so Gatry's got a level... Might as well give Nefany another one. She's not really getting much out of regular level ups at this point. Okay, strength is great. Okay, I think her strength cap is 25. And, well, may as well. That's not going to cost me very much. Yeah, you may notice I'm using bonus experience a lot more at this point in the game, and earlier on I barely used bonus experience very much. That's definitely deliberate. In early part 1, you're not likely to have many stats, and I believe that is, yes, that is cap strength. You're not likely to have many stats capped, and so you'll usually get better level ups through normal experience. But at this point, we're getting much better level ups through bonus experience, so we're actually wanting to level up using that for the majority of the time. I'd really like to have Rolf cap a few stats so I can just bonus experience him a ton. He's really behind everyone else in terms of experience. That will probably cost quite a bit. Is there anyone else who I could... It does cost quite a lot to level up 3rd tiers with bonus experience. I think for now I'll leave that, and let's check out what's at the market. I feel like the stock of the armory has changed slightly, but not that much. Seems like they're actually selling less than they used to. But at the shop, let's check out what the bargains are. We have a Wudao, Secret Book, Arm Scroll, and a Reaper card. I'd rather just buy the Spectre card. Reaper card's not that big of an upgrade. There is a Wudao. I'd much rather have a Killing Edge than a Wudao, but you know what? I might as well. Mia has nearly capped strength at this point, although her original Wudao has not really lost that many uses. I could get the Secret Book or the Arm Scroll. Some people said that I should have bought the Draco Shield in an earlier chapter, but I don't know. For some reason, I don't really find myself buying stat boosters very much from the from bargains. It's kind of weird. I just kind of feel like most of us have caps. Most of our, I mean, so look at me. Me is almost already capped defense anyway. Most of the people that I want good defense on have already have a decent amount. And I don't think there's very much left to... Oh, obviously, going to trade that over to Ike. Can't believe I forgot that. As far as weapons go, I think we're still pretty much set on weapons. so don't really mind not changing people's weapons around. We are going to need a lot of ranged weapons in this chapter, but I think we have more than enough. Do I have anything good in the convoy? Okay, how are your javelins doing? Let's just take a fresh one of those. Gatry's fine on hand axes, I think. Titania should be fine on hand axes. Yeah, I think this is pretty much good, so let's go. Okay, I knew I was forgetting something. Supports, because Nia and Gatry can rank up their support level. That didn't really do much except increase your hit rate by 5. And Mist and Void can rank up their support level. And I think that's everything that I can do here, except Har can probably afford to support someone now. Though Nephany is currently supporting Heather. Maybe Titania and Har should support. The two broken juggernauts of doom supporting each other. And... is there anyone better for Oscar to support? No one who isn't already occupied. Okay, now let's go. I just remembered something that I promised I'd do in the last part, and that is remove celerity from Gatry, because this is more of a defend map. Don't really need him to be moving very far. And I did... oh, Soren doesn't even have the capacity anyway, unless I get rid of, I could get rid of cancel on him to put celerity on, but for the moment... maybe I should give this to Reyson. I really like having celerity on Heron, so you know what? Let's give that to Reyson. I'm not used to seeing Soren in his third-tier outfit in cutscenes. That's quite a lot of enemies, but they seem to be conveniently grouped into similar weapon types, so it's not too hard to get weapon triangle advantage here. Well, if you're not playing on hard mode, that is. This reminds me a lot of Path of Radiance, I believe it was Chapter 5, where they just attacked you outright when you're in a defended position. I guess they think if they get the Grail Mercenaries alone, they can take us out, just like Ike's saying. And taking out the Grail Mercenaries would be a big blow. However, we are the Grail Mercenaries, and obviously they're gonna get completely obliterated. In the extended script, Reyson has a pretty cool line here where he says, "I'll fight too, seeing as I'm one of the Grail Mercenaries now." A pretty nice moment for him, but sadly not in the regular script.